Have you ever felt a strange distance growing between you and someone you love? Perhaps she steps away to answer calls, becomes irritated over minor things, or even begins asking for time apart without clear reasons. These subtle shifts in behavior can speak volumes, often hinting at hidden truths that could shake the very foundation of your relationship. In this video, we'll walk through 9 crucial signs that may reveal more than meets the eye. Stay with us until the end to learn how to recognize these behaviors and to uncover what they might really mean for your relationship. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, I encourage you to click the subscribe button and ring the notification bell to stay updated on all our latest content. I'm eager to hear your thoughts on today's topic. If you enjoy the content, please comment 1 below. If it doesn't resonate with you, leave a 0. Your feedback is crucial as it helps me create better videos that align with your interests. Now, let's get started. Sign number 9. She steps away to answer the phone. In a loving and trusting relationship, the way partners handle their interactions with others speaks volumes about their commitment and openness. But when a woman starts stepping away, physically creating distance between you two just to answer calls or reply to messages, it might be a glaring red flag, a sign that something significant is being concealed. This behavior isn't merely about privacy, it's about her choosing to shield parts of her life from you, perhaps for reasons that could be devastating if exposed. Imagine this: you're both together, maybe sharing a quiet moment or enjoying each other's company, and suddenly, her phone buzzes. Instead of casually replying or keeping her conversation within earshot, she abruptly excuses herself, walking out of the room or finding a secluded spot. She might appear nervous, glancing over her shoulder, or perhaps she lowers her voice to a whisper as if safeguarding a secret. These actions suggest she's engaging in conversation she knows would raise questions, perhaps even doubts, about the nature of her loyalty. It's the secrecy here that speaks louder than words, the fact that she feels the need to be physically apart, to talk or text away from your presence. This excessive need for privacy around her phone not only disrupts the bond of trust, but also injects a sense of vulnerability and pain into the relationship. When someone feels the need to hide their conversations, it often signals that the content may be emotionally inappropriate, possibly flirtatious, or even an entanglement that goes against the very foundation of your partnership. And if, when questioned, she becomes visibly anxious, defensive, or irritated, that reaction further amplifies the suspicion. Her behavior reflects more than a need for occasional solitude. It hints at betrayal, at a kind of secrecy that erodes trust and strains emotional connection. Pay close attention if this pattern continues, if every text, every call, leads to her distancing herself or becoming irritable when asked about it. This could be a heartbreaking indicator that your relationship is compromised, that another presence has encroached upon the space meant for just the two of you. Recognizing these signs, although painful, might be crucial in facing the reality of where things stand and deciding how to navigate the road ahead. Sign number 8. She gets irritated over trivial matters. In a relationship that once felt like a sanctuary, where every moment was shared with comfort and warmth, it can be unsettling to see your partner suddenly become irritable over the smallest things. These moments, when a forgotten grocery item, a slight delay in plans, or a miscommunication about a social event causes her to react with surprising frustration, may reveal more than simple stress or a passing bad mood. When she begins to snap or overreact to minor inconveniences, it may be the weight of something unspoken, an invisible wall growing between you both, hiding a painful truth that she can't bring herself to share. Imagine an everyday scene, a quiet evening, perhaps, or a small family gathering, where she would typically be at ease, enjoying the moment. Yet, you notice that her responses have changed, that she's more defensive, her smile less genuine, her laugh not reaching her eyes as it once did. Little issues that would previously go unnoticed or lead to laughter now become points of tension. A misplaced item, a casual comment, or a minor change in plans feels like a trigger, sparking disproportionate irritation. This excessive defensiveness may seem out of character, but it often serves as an emotional barrier, a way to protect herself from revealing too much or slipping up about something that would shatter the image she's trying so hard to maintain. People carrying the weight of a secret relationship often experience a relentless cycle of anxiety, guilt, and fear. The constant mental juggling, keeping two parts of their life apart, creates an emotional exhaustion that makes them vulnerable to stress in all areas of life, including those shared with you. In social situations or family gatherings, where the expectation is to relax and enjoy each other's presence, she may seem particularly tense, as if she's guarding herself even from the people closest to her. This distance, this visible tension, isn't just a bad mood, it's the strain of compartmentalizing, of trying to appear present while her mind is occupied with keeping the truth hidden. You may even notice her checking her phone more frequently, or stepping away to take a call, in moments when she would usually be fully engaged. These small signs add up, painting a picture of someone who is carrying a burden too heavy to set down. This irritability and tension often result in exaggerated reactions to what should be insignificant issues, amplifying them into arguments or defensive stances. The guilt of leading a hidden life begins to cloud her interactions with you, as she wrestles with the fear of discovery and the shame of betrayal. It can be a painful revelation for you, observing this person you once knew so well behave with such an edge, where every word feels measured, every reaction intensified. Her irritability becomes a shield, protecting her from exposing too much, ensuring that you don't pry further into her life. If you sense that her reactions are consistently out of proportion, and that she is constantly on guard as though protecting herself from a looming threat, this defensiveness may be more than just everyday stress. The person you thought was by your side may be retreating emotionally, erecting barriers to keep you from noticing the signs of betrayal. The persistent irritability, the harsh tone over trivial issues, the visible discomfort in previously comfortable settings, all may hint at a heartbreaking reality. This tension, if left unaddressed, creates an emotional rift that grows with each passing day, deepening the feeling of distance in your relationship. Recognizing these subtle but telling shifts in her behavior, though painful, is necessary to confront the truth. Her irritation over trivial matters, once dismissed as fleeting moments of frustration, may reveal a painful truth, that she's hiding something monumental, and that your once solid foundation may now rest on unsteady ground. Sign number 7. She avoids contact with you. In a loving relationship, closeness is often a cornerstone, a foundation built on shared moments, affection, and the simple joy of being together. But when a woman begins to avoid contact with her partner, it signals a deep shift, one that may be rooted in the painful reality of infidelity. This newfound distance can show up in many ways. Perhaps she avoids being alone with you, maintains an unusual physical space between you, or shies away from the smallest displays of affection, from a casual touch to a simple embrace. These actions reflect an emotional disconnect that speaks louder than words, suggesting that her heart may no longer be entirely yours and could be devoted elsewhere. Consider those moments when you once felt her warmth and presence, the way she would reach for your hand, lean in close, or share a quiet moment just between the two of you. Now, these simple gestures seem absent, replaced by an uncomfortable space that feels more like a wall than a bond. The subtle cues of avoidance, turning away when you reach out, making excuses to avoid intimate moments, or filling her time with other activities, become more frequent. It's as if she's emotionally retreating, creating a gulf between you that grows with each passing day. This isn't a mere phase. It's often an indication that her feelings have shifted, redirected towards someone else who has captured her attention and affection. Guilt and internal conflict are often at the heart of this behavior. When someone is emotionally involved with another person, being around their partner can stir feelings of discomfort and even shame. The once comfortable silences between you might now feel heavy and awkward, as if an invisible tension fills the room. Each glance, each moment of eye contact, may carry a weight of secrets unsaid, making it almost unbearable for her to be near you. Her reluctance to spend time alone with you or engage in heartfelt conversations often reflects her struggle to reconcile her actions with the relationship you share. This physical and emotional distancing serves another purpose as well. It acts as a shield, a way for her to avoid raising your suspicions. By keeping you at arm's length, she minimizes the risk of letting something slip, of revealing too much in a vulnerable moment. Avoiding close contact allows her to maintain control, to guard the truth behind a facade of detachment. Even in shared spaces, she may seem more withdrawn, her focus elsewhere, and her once familiar presence now feels more like that of a stranger. If you begin to notice that your partner's once loving gestures have been replaced by this emotional and physical withdrawal, it's crucial to take a step back and evaluate what might be going on. This behavior is more than a sign of simple disinterest. It may indicate a painful truth that neither of you has yet voiced. If the intimacy between you has faded, if she seems to avoid your presence, it's a signal that something deeper is amiss. Addressing this distance openly, though it may be challenging, is essential to understand the reality of your relationship and to find a way forward, whatever that may entail. Sign number 6. Her affection decreases. In a relationship built on love and connection, small gestures of affection, warm hugs, gentle kisses, and tender touches are the threads that weave two hearts together. When these gestures start to fade, it often signals an emotional and physical distance that runs deeper than mere fatigue or stress. If you notice that your partner kisses or hugs you less frequently, or with a lack of warmth and sincerity, it can be a troubling sign that her heart may no longer be fully invested in your relationship. The decrease in affection is not just a random shift. It often reflects an emotional withdrawal, a disconnection that suggests her desires and attention might be directed elsewhere. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment number 1 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. Think back to the moments when her touch felt genuine and comforting, the way she would embrace you with an unmistakable warmth, or greet you with a kiss that spoke of love without words. Now, these simple acts of affection might feel forced or fleeting, as if they've lost the meaning they once held. You might sense a certain reluctance in her, a hesitation to be physically close, or a lack of enthusiasm in her embrace. It's not just the quantity but the quality of affection that changes. Even when she does reach out, her touch feels distant, her kiss devoid of the warmth it once had. This fading intimacy often points to an emotional investment elsewhere, leaving your shared connection to feel hollow and routine. This reluctance to show affection is often her way of coping with an internal struggle, a sense of guilt and discomfort that comes with divided loyalty. When someone is emotionally or physically involved with another person, showing affection to their partner can evoke a painful mix of guilt and confusion. In these moments, her hugs and kisses may feel more like obligations than expressions of genuine love, a way to maintain appearances while concealing her true feelings. This reduction in physical closeness serves as an emotional shield, a way to distance herself from the reality of her actions, avoiding the pang of guilt that comes with betraying a shared bond. Moreover, this behavior isn't limited to just physical intimacy. It extends into emotional distance. She may no longer seek your embrace during difficult times, or her once caring words may be replaced by a cool indifference. You might find her more absorbed in her own world, keeping her thoughts and feelings to herself, leaving you feeling isolated and disconnected. This decrease in affection isn't simply a symptom of a busy life or stressful times. It's a deeper withdrawal, a sign that she may be finding the emotional and physical connection she once shared with you in someone else's arms. If you notice that her once loving gestures have grown distant, if her hugs feel half-hearted and her kisses lack passion, it's essential to recognize the weight of these changes. This shift in affection is not just about the loss of warmth in her touch. It's a sign that her heart may be seeking solace and happiness outside your relationship. These fading displays of love are often a clear indication that something has shifted, that she may be holding back her affection and reserving it for someone else. Recognizing this change, although painful, can be the first step in understanding the true state of your relationship and deciding how to move forward, with honesty and clarity. Sign number 5. She doesn't want you to meet her friends. In a committed relationship, partners naturally want to share their world with each other, including the people closest to them. Friends often hold a unique place, serving as confidants and supporters, and sharing these connections with a partner is a way of deepening trust and intimacy. But when a woman suddenly seems reluctant to introduce you to her friends or actively avoids opportunities for you to meet them, it can be a troubling sign, one that hints at hidden truths beneath the surface. This avoidance isn't just about privacy. It can be an intentional attempt to keep you from those who may know too much or have insights into parts of her life she wishes to keep secret. Imagine moments when you bring up meeting her friends, hoping to get to know those who are important to her. Instead of enthusiasm, you're met with hesitation or excuses. comments about how her friends are busy, not that close, or even that it's just easier to keep things separate. It's as if she's creating a barrier between you and her social circle, guarding a part of her life from your reach. This behavior is often rooted in a fear that her friends, who may know about her other relationships or hidden affairs, might accidentally reveal something that could unravel her secret life. By keeping you distant, she's able to maintain control, ensuring that her worlds remain separate and that her friends aren't put in uncomfortable positions that could expose the truth. Friends often act as mirrors, reflecting back parts of ourselves we may wish to hide, especially when it comes to relationships. If her friends are aware of an affair or emotionally complicated relationship she's engaged in, they might feel uncomfortable around you, burdened by the knowledge they're holding. Avoiding introductions not only protects her from potential slip-ups but also shields her friends from the awkwardness of interacting with both parties, knowing full well that there's something hidden. This distance allows her to continue living a divided life without the risk of her social circle revealing information that could be damaging. This reluctance to bring you into her world often becomes more apparent in social situations. Perhaps she attends gatherings alone, mentioning that it's just a casual get-together, or only friends you don't know. When you suggest accompanying her, she may brush it off or become defensive, as if the simple act of attending together is somehow inconvenient. This emotional distancing from her social life creates an isolating barrier, leaving you feeling shut out and questioning why she wouldn't want to share this important part of her life with you. If you notice that your partner is evasive or dismissive when it comes to meeting her friends, especially without a solid reason, it's essential to pay attention. This behavior often points to more than just a preference for privacy. It's a red flag that she may be hiding something significant. The gap between you and her social circle, once easily bridged, now feels like a gulf that keeps you at arm's length, a silent indicator that she might be safeguarding her secrets. Recognizing this distancing behavior, although painful, is crucial in understanding the possible realities of your relationship and deciding how to proceed with honesty and openness. Sign number 4. She invents extra commitments at work. In a healthy relationship, transparency and openness are crucial for building trust and understanding. Partners typically share their routines, and any extra work commitments or outings with friends are met with clear explanations. But when a woman begins inventing additional work hours, spontaneous meetings, or frequent get-togethers with friends, it can serve as a subtle yet powerful warning sign of infidelity. This behavior often reveals a desire to create distance, to find reasons to be away from home, and may indicate that she's spending this time with someone else. Imagine evenings or weekends when you once looked forward to spending time together, only to be met with a sudden string of urgent work commitments or last-minute outings with friends. She might mention an unexpected project, a late client meeting, or a night out with friends that seems to crop up without prior notice. These commitments often come without specific details, leaving you with a vague explanation that's hard to question. Over time, these stories can start to feel rehearsed, a set of carefully crafted alibis to cover for time spent away, providing her with freedom without raising suspicion. The choice of work as an excuse is particularly strategic. Long hours or last-minute demands from a job are typically accepted as legitimate, even unassailable reasons for absence, making them perfect covers for an affair. Friends' outings also serve as socially acceptable excuses, difficult to verify and often presumed harmless. But if you start noticing a pattern, more and more commitments that take her away from home, with no plausible explanation for the frequency or urgency, it may be a sign that these extra hours are hiding something deeper. This behavior often escalates subtly. She may return home later than usual, giving you only vague answers when you ask about her day. Instead of sharing specific details, she might dismiss your questions with phrases like, "Just a busy day at work," or "I was out with friends." If she becomes defensive or irritated when you show concern, it could be a sign that she feels uncomfortable providing more information, fearing that too many details might expose her deceit. Each invented commitment allows her to maintain an illusion of routine while giving her a way to be with someone else without facing uncomfortable questions. The emotional distance created by these repeated absences can be deeply unsettling. You may find yourself growing uncertain, wondering if you're being overly suspicious or if something truly has shifted. Yet, When someone is genuinely committed to their partner, they usually make time for them despite a busy schedule. They value the opportunity to share details about their day and include their partner in their social life. If her work hours and outings seem to be multiplying without clear explanations, and if she increasingly relies on these justifications to account for her absence, it's essential to take a closer look. This could be a sign that she's relying on your trust and good faith to cover up a hidden relationship. Recognizing these subtle signs isn't easy, especially when trust has been a fundamental part of your connection. Yet, if you find that these extra commitments at work or with friends have become her go-to excuse for spending less time together, it may be time to have an open, honest conversation about what's really happening. Confronting these behaviors, although painful, may offer clarity and help you understand whether your relationship is truly grounded in honesty or whether something is slipping away behind a facade of invented obligations. Sign number 3. She keeps her phone on silent mode. In a trusting relationship, partners generally feel comfortable with each other's presence, even when it comes to something as personal as their phones. A phone is often an extension of our social lives, and keeping it accessible or audible around each other is a small gesture of openness. But when a woman starts consistently putting her phone on silent mode or hiding notifications when she's with you, it can be an unsettling sign. This behavior suggests she may have reasons to keep her communications hidden, especially if her phone is typically more active or openly accessible. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment number 2 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. Imagine sitting together, enjoying a quiet evening, and noticing that her phone, once alive with sounds of messages and calls, now remains eerily silent. When asked about it, she might brush it off with a casual excuse, saying she's just trying to stay present or avoid distractions. While this may seem considerate on the surface, the consistency of this behavior, always silencing her phone when you're around, can be a troubling sign. It may indicate that she's avoiding the chance of you seeing a call or text that could reveal a side of her life she's trying to keep hidden. The choice to keep her phone on silent mode is strategic. Silencing her phone prevents any unexpected calls, messages, or notifications from drawing your attention, effectively protecting her from uncomfortable questions or suspicion. She knows that any sound or notification, especially if it's persistent, could prompt you to look or ask questions, possibly leading to revelations she's not prepared to face. This small act of muting her phone becomes a way to shield her interactions, creating a hidden barrier between the two of you, where her secrets remain safely tucked away. The behavior often becomes more noticeable over time. Perhaps you remember a time when she was open with her phone, casually leaving it on the table, or even sharing funny messages with you. Now, you may notice her holding it closer, flipping it face down, or excusing herself to check it in private. Each of these actions may seem minor, but together, they paint a picture of someone guarding their phone as though it holds secrets too delicate to share. Her phone, once a part of your shared space, now becomes a private sanctuary, an off-limits area that sparks curiosity and perhaps concern. The repeated silencing of her phone isn't just about avoiding distractions. It's a way to manage the emotional burden of maintaining a hidden life. The fear of an exposed call or message is a constant source of tension, and by muting her phone, she reduces the risk of any accidental slips. This silence acts as a shield, allowing her to navigate the complexities of her dual life without raising suspicion, knowing that no sound or vibration will betray her secret. If this behavior becomes a pattern, it's important to recognize it as more than just a quirk. When someone consistently keeps their phone on silent and avoids sharing this aspect of their life, it often points to something deeper, something they're working hard to keep under wraps. Paying attention to these small but telling actions can reveal much about the health and transparency of your relationship. If her silent phone feels like a wall between you, it's essential to address it openly. Having a conversation about these changes, though difficult, can offer clarity and help you both understand whether the foundation of trust between you remains strong or if it's been compromised by hidden truths. Sign number 2. She's always ready to argue. In a loving relationship, disagreements are natural and can even strengthen the bond when handled with respect and empathy. But when a woman is unfaithful, her demeanor often changes, becoming unusually defensive and quick to start arguments. Suddenly, small misunderstandings or trivial issues escalate into full-blown confrontations, leaving you wondering why such minor matters now lead to conflict. This constant readiness to argue is often a reflection of her internal turmoil, a way to shield herself from the guilt she carries or avoid conversations that might expose her infidelity. Imagine a situation where a simple question or light-hearted comment quickly spirals into an argument. Instead of responding calmly, she lashes out, becoming confrontational over issues that once wouldn't have even caused a ripple. You may notice that she's quick to criticize, eager to pick apart your words, and almost seems to seek out reasons to be upset. This heightened defensiveness often isn't about the issue at hand. It's about deflecting attention from her own actions. By steering the conversation toward conflict, she creates a smokescreen, diverting focus from anything that could make her feel vulnerable or exposed. This defensive stance isn't just a reaction to external stress. It's often a calculated attempt to maintain control over the narrative within your relationship. By initiating arguments, she places herself in a position where she can manipulate the flow of the conversation, ensuring it stays away from sensitive topics that might reveal her hidden life. Her anger and readiness to argue become tools she wields to protect herself, to keep you from asking questions that might unearth secrets she's not ready to share. Each argument acts as a barrier, creating a sense of distance that discourages intimacy and makes it harder for you to reach the truth. This behavior often escalates subtly, with arguments becoming more frequent and intense. Where once there was calm, you may now find an atmosphere thick with tension, as if every interaction is teetering on the edge of confrontation. If you try to resolve the issue calmly, she may accuse you of being insensitive or dismissive, twisting the situation until you feel like the one at fault. This shift in dynamics isn't accidental. It's a way for her to project her guilt outward, placing the blame on you to ease her own internal conflict. By framing you as the problem, she can justify her actions, convincing herself that the fault lies elsewhere. This constant readiness to argue also becomes a way to keep you at arm's length emotionally. When a relationship is filled with unresolved tension and frequent confrontations, it's hard to feel close, vulnerable, or trusting. Instead of sharing quiet, meaningful moments, you may feel like you're always on guard, waiting for the next argument. This emotional distance, whether intentional or subconscious, helps her manage the guilt of leading a double life, allowing her to compartmentalize her feelings and avoid facing the reality of her actions. If you notice that arguments have become her go-to response, and that each conversation seems to lead to conflict without a clear reason, it's essential to consider what might be driving this behavior. A constant state of defensiveness and confrontational energy is more than just stress. It's often a sign that she's struggling with something significant, something she's working hard to keep hidden. Addressing this shift openly and honestly may be difficult, but it's a step toward understanding whether the relationship can withstand the weight of what's left unspoken, or if it's being quietly fractured by secrets she can no longer keep concealed.